When you're first getting into flipping, one of the most important skill sets you can learn is how to comp properties. You have to be able to figure out what is the ARV, after repair value. Once the house is fixed up nice, what is it going to be able to sell for on the market? So tonight, I'm going to show you in the Flip Lab how to use Zillow and how to comp properties from your couch. It's actually really simple. Just a few things you got to keep in mind. Let's head over to Zillow so I can show you what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Look. Spot. Ooh. Watch how I drop. Believe it or not, this isn't all that I got. They told me to rock, that's not how I rock. Now I gotta pop Madonna. Trading my traumas for commas.
So first things first, guys, when you have a property that comes up, go on to Zillow, just type in the property address. So in this example, I'm gonna go over a recent flip that we have active on the market. And I'm going to go through the process of what I did originally a few months back when we bought the property to figure out what I thought the ARV is. Once you know the ARV, it's easy to work backwards to get to your MAO, which is maximum allowed offer. Link below for the video on how to kind of figure out all those numbers as well. But it starts with being good at comping properties and knowing how to do this. So we get over to Zillow and here's our house. So all you have to do is exit out of our house, because if you see, we have a cape. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,800 square feet. Here's the finishes we did. How do you think Steve did? I like the white and gold. What do you guys think? Comment below if you like the white and gold in the kitchen. But this is the house. So we flipped it up nice, took some nice photos, and we've gotten a few offers already at $275, $285. A few buyers have backed out, but we'll get this thing sold pretty soon. But we're trying to figure out what other properties in the area have sold. That's how you figure out in single family houses what a house is worth. You figure out what other homes in that area have recently sold, and you try to find the closest houses that have sold in your current condition, and that's how you figure out values in single family. When it comes to multifamily, you're actually using NOI, and you're calculating how much money does the asset produce, and it's a whole different ballgame. But in single family, 1 to 4 properties, the values are determined by comps, comparable properties, recently sold houses that are similar to yours. So our job is to find the closest properties to ours in the area, same years built, same type of home, same square footage, same parcel size. All these things, we want to find very similar conditioned homes, and then that's how we're going to figure out what ours should be selling for. So here we go. Go on to Zillow, you type in the address, and then you change this filter, you exit out, and you change the filter to sold. You also go here and you want to see just sold in the last 90 days. Especially in a market like this where prices are changing fast, you want to try to get recent comps. So anything 6 months, a year isn't going to be a great comp. So here's our property that we bought for $75,000 a couple months ago. So now we're trying to look in this area. What other houses have sold that are going to be like ours? So like here's one, for instance. Okay, so it's the same model home. So if you see, it's the same type of house. Ours is a cape. That's with these big slanted roofs. They have bedrooms upstairs. So similar house, but this one's in bad shape. So since we're looking for the ARV, the after repair value, we want to find comps that were already fixed up. So this house looks fixed up. And this house was a flip, it looks like. But the issue with this one is it's way bigger. So you could see that ours is 1,800 square feet. This is 2,400 square feet. You want to try to stay within a few hundred square feet of the subject property when you're looking at comps. Same thing goes for the year built. So ours was built in 1967, I believe. We got, 1967, and it's 0.16 acres, or about 7,000 square feet for a lot size. These are all things you want to consider as well. So if we're looking back over here at this property, you can see, one, it's not a cape. So this is a colonial. In some towns, you'll notice there's only a few model houses, and you want to try to then comp using the same model homes. So in Willingboro, you'll see there's these colonials, there's the capes like the subject property, and then there's these L-shaped ranch homes. So you want to make sure that you're comparing apples to apples and not a cape to a colonial. So right off the bat, I like the fact that it's flipped, but it's not a comp. It's way too big, and it's a different type of house. Let's see what else we got. So this is a ranch style house. So 1-story house, just not the same. Let's look for other stuff. Here's a 290. I like that. I like that it's flipped and it's similar square footage. So we're within, 100 square feet. It was built. Let's see when it was built. It's built within a year of our property and very similar lot size. But the issue, once again, guys, is the fact that it's a colonial. Let's try to see if we can find some capes. What we got here? This looks... so here we go. 7 East Lane. You look right off the bat, looks very similar to the subject. These photos are older photos. So if we go on a Google and let's try to find the updated photos. Here we go. And you can see. So it's a nice fixed up cape. Right down the street. Looks like they did a pretty good job. I don't love these countertops. I think our kitchen looks better, guys. What do you think? This kitchen or this kitchen? Who did better? Comment below. Anyways, I like this house. So if you notice a couple things, this house is 1,600 square feet. Ours is 1,800 square feet. So a little bigger, but within a couple hundred square feet. So that's good comp. This one is one more bedroom, which is interesting because ours is bigger and has one less bed. But that also tells me 1,600 square feet for a 4-bed, it's probably very small bedrooms, which sometimes could actually hurt the value. Other things that are different is this has 2 garages. Ours has 1 garage. I would say the extra garage might add $5,000 in value, but the extra square footage I think is going to add, $5,000 to $10,000 at least in additional value for ours. So you have to kind of like weigh these things out. One might have a nicer backyard. One might have a nicer driveway. So you kind of want to try to figure out, this is kind of the feel part of comping, where sometimes there's give and take. So one might have one more garage port, but at the same time, the other one might have gas heating instead of oil heating. One might be on a busy road. One might be tucked away in the neighborhood, but they're the same model house. So I'm going to include a link below of all the little factors that I consider when running comps. But for the most part, you just try to find the same exact property. So I like this. 265. It just sold. It was flipped. Let's see what else we could find that is also a cape. So we got... That's no good. What else we have? Remember, we want to stay within about a quarter mile. Not cross over any major highways or anything. So this is a major road here, but still pretty close. Here we are. Let's look at this comp. So 4.2, 1,800 square feet. Very similar size to ours. If you look, I mean, it almost looks like the same exact house. Very, very similar. Let's see the finishes on this house. Nicely done. Not sure why they staged it. No need to be staging homes in this price range. I don't really love those countertops either, but it's a flipped house, guys. So this is a good comp. Love this comp. Very close by. Has one extra bedroom once again, but that's okay. I'm not worried about that too much. Built in 63. Ours was built in 67. Close enough. Ours is 0.16 acres. This is 0.15. And other things to consider is you want to look like how long were these comps, the ones that sold, the nice ones. Once we fix the house, how long is it going to take to sell? So this is good, the fact that once they had it listed, it went to pending within a week. So that tells me that the market is pretty active. Because there's a lot of things you can change about a house, but if a market is just not active, you can't really change that. So now we have 2 good comps as far as we have this one at 270. And then we also had that other one over here at 265. So that would lead me to believe that our property is probably right in the middle of that. I would say somewhere between 265 to 270. When we ran comps, that's what we thought once we fixed it up, what we would be able to sell it for. So we ended up actually listing our property for 275. We've had a few people actually agree to that, and we actually had a few offers over, but a few buyers backed out. Things like that happen when you're flipping real estate. I think this house is going to get sold very soon. But things to remember is it would be a mistake if we were comping this with other colonials. It would be a mistake if we were comparing, a 2,400 square foot house to a 1,800 square foot house. So remember, you want to be looking at the year the house was built. You want to be looking at the type of house that it is. You also want to consider things like how many beds and baths does it have? You want to you can look at square footage calculators. You can try to see, are they on similar size plots of land? All these things, when you factor them in, some are going to be easier to comp than others. Some properties you might say, hey, when I go on, I couldn't find 2 or 3 comps that were, the same model home. I found only colonials and the subject was a cape. What do I do? How do I comp those properties? The answer to that is you just have to be more conservative. When there's not good comps, the answer is you have to be on the conservative side of things because we don't really know. Remember, the way that these houses figure out their value is an appraiser comes in most of the time. And 250 to 300, these people aren't paying cash. That means they have to get a bank loan. That means an appraiser has to come out and say what that house is worth. An appraiser is going to compare a cape to a cape, a colonial to a colonial. Years built, if it's a 1890 built, I just had a deal the other day. Someone sent me a 1965 comp for a 1890 built. That's ridiculous. That's not a comp. That is comparing apples to oranges. So if you don't have any great comps, also, it might not be a great deal to buy unless you're buying it extremely cheap. If we don't have good comps, the deal better just make complete sense. Like even this deal would have been a good example. We bought this deal for 75. Looking right off the bat, I mean, we know that we would be able to sell this house well over, 125 just as is. Just looking at some as is comps of other houses in this area that have sold. So that's the types of questions that you want to be asking yourself is, what is the as-is value? And then what is the after-repair value? So if you can't find comps for after-repair value, try to look for comps in as-is value. So if your house is messed up, now try to find other messed up homes. I hope you guys got a ton of value out of this video, guys. If you did, please hit the subscribe button. We're going to be dropping way more videos in the future. Ricky from the Flip Lab. Peace.